Yeah, we've had coming off a successful week. First and foremost, we need to recover from 3 games in 1 week, and so that's what we tried to do in the first couple of days of this week successfully. Today, we were able to push the guys a little more in order to get ready for Sunday's match against a team that's difficult to beat, good on the break, um, physical, but also has some unpredictability. In other words, creativity in a player. So we're well aware of what's coming our way, but we feel good about the preparation so far. We still have 2 more days to go, but I think our team will be in a good spot in order to put ourselves in a position where we can win another game.
Great, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. Just a reminder to please raise your hand if you have a question for any of our speakers today. We'll start with Katya.
Thanks, Crystal. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
You mentioned you weren't happy with everything you saw on the field during the weekend. So what are you hoping to see for this upcoming match?
One of the topics, or two of the topics we talked about, one of them was pushing the tempo a little bit. I thought our tempo in the first half in Cincinnati was quite slow, and to put it on our terms, was poor. So we are looking to push the tempo a little more. We've done so in training, and I like what I see so far. Defensively, there's been a little bit of a man orientation that's been creeping into our defensive organization, which we don't want to do and we didn't like. And so things we've corrected in the video analysis and with the group, and also on the training field so far this week. We will continue that, and I'm sure we'll see a different picture this weekend.
And you mentioned how Minnesota is a team that's difficult to beat, and it's proven challenging in the past for LAFC style. So just how to go about it and how to try to break down, especially their defense.
Well, it's a team that's physical. They understand how to defend the space as well. They're good in the break, so you can never keep your eye off them as well. But for us, pushing the tempo and moving the ball as fast as possible to break them down, to open up new spaces, to create a little chaos at times, to catch them in a disorganized state. That will be the key to this game. And as always, set pieces are an important part of games, to either crawl your way back into matches or to get yourself off on the right foot. So those are the key moments we're looking for this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katya. We'll go to Josh Gross.
Thanks, Crystal. Hey, Steve. This is the third, coming into this game, this is the third time the team has been disciplined for mass confrontation. I'm just wondering what your sense of that is. No other team in the league has had it more than once or been fined, and this is your third. But what do you owe that to?
I think there's a warning, and then I think the second two altercations or moments are then fines. I'm not sure putting a number on it is smart. I think you have to look at each individual altercation. I'm not sure there's a team out there on the planet that wouldn't react to what happened to us against the Galaxy. This last weekend against Cincinnati, Ryan Hollingshead takes a really bad shot to the head, which I'm hoping gets reviewed. And players obviously are standing up for their teammates. So very normal and natural reactions from my players. I don't really see any harm in that. I'm not quite sure that passing out fines is the right tool to use for those individual situations. And I'm not sure using a rule to judge everybody the same with is also the right methods. I think you have to treat every situation differently. If things boil over and they get out of hand and there are some more serious altercations after a mass confrontation, then of course fines need to be handed out and suspensions maybe. But none of these situations have gotten that far, so I think it's a bit overkill on the league's part. But like I said, I think you have to treat every situation differently. But that's clearly not the case, so I'm not concerned.
From a team standpoint, competitive standpoint, does that say anything about the psychology of your players that they've gotten into these incidents, or do you not view it that way?
we're a tight-knit group. We like to win. Boys are competitive. I really see no harm in that. We're trying to progress the game in the United States. Emotions are a very important part of this game, so taking the emotions out is counterproductive for what we're trying to do in this country. So I'm, again, not quite understanding the judgment from the league's part, but yeah, I have a team who likes to win and who will stand up for each other, but by no means has it gotten out of hand or is anybody stepping out of line, and that to me is the important line to judge, and that's how I would judge these situations.
Lastly, from the end of this, could you disclose the fines? The league doesn't do that. Would you be willing to disclose the fines for what you faced so far?
Well, if the league doesn't, then I probably shouldn't either, so I think I'll keep that to myself.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Josh. Go ahead, Andy.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
Good.
I know you can't speak too much to, obviously, the team last year, but it's a team that has kind of the same personnel and struggled a bit to score when the chances were there, when they dominated possession, created chances, but just couldn't score. I want to know what you see from the team this year, that you're able to have offensive players put the ball back in the back of the net, but then have contributors in the midfield and defensively to be able to kind of contribute and not just rely on that front three.
Well, we attack with 11 players, or 10 if you don't want to count the goalkeeper, and we defend with 11. So I think it's been a team effort, and yeah, there's always one person who pushes the ball back over the line to the back of the net, and we're happy with spreading our contributors out throughout the entire squad. But I think it has more to do with just staying connected as a group as it is anything particular we're doing in training or any sort of individual talks I'm having with guys. Having a healthy and fit Carlos Vela helps as well. Not only himself, but also other players, putting them in good positions and attracting defenders. So there are many factors that play into that. But I think the biggest one is just staying connected as a group. I think we've done a good job of.
Can we expect Crepo to attack at one point? Is that something you're alluding to here?
Probably not. I hope not, because that would mean we're down a goal at the end of a game. So hopefully he stays in his part of the field where he's exceptional.
Steve, can I just get an update on how Ryan and Eddie are progressing in their injuries?
Very well. Brian is getting close to making a comeback, so we feel good about his progression, and he'll make a full comeback probably ahead of schedule. Eddie is doing very well as well. Moments with the team. He just needs to add some fitness, and the only way to do that is lots of training sessions and maybe some minutes in games coming up. So both of them are very close. Ismail Tajuri-Shradi is also getting better. Obviously his injury is more fresh than the others, so he'll take a little longer, but he's on track to make a full recovery and speedy recovery as well.
Thanks, Steve.
Yep.
Celso Oliveira, go ahead.
Hi, Steve. Celso Oliveira with Territorial MLS and the OBG podcast. Chiqui Palacios has been averaging roughly 90 touches a game ever since B-Rod went down. His game has really seen an improvement, in my opinion, since as well has really taken the responsibility on his shoulders. Is this intentional in any way? Talk a little bit about his success and also this, additional volume that he's seeing in his touches.
Yeah, I mean, without comparing him to other players on our team, I think he's been maybe our most consistent player this year. He's been fantastic. Chiqui is also becoming offensively more prolific. He's always been a good defender, 1v1. He's very difficult to get by, being obviously one of the best left backs in the league. And now he's starting to figure out how to be productive offensively and to contribute, which is the next step in his progression. I couldn't be happier with his progression and his development. The sky's the limit with him. He has so much ceiling. His ceiling is so high. So I look forward to him wanting more and to get even better, because he can. He has the capacity to become hands down the best left back in this league and to play in other leagues. So it's been a joy coaching him and seeing him progress in this short amount of time, but he still has lots of work to do.
Mm-hmm. And what about Kelvin Acosta? A solid game versus Cincinnati, had the goal, of course, but also went 3 for 3 long balls, which was a stat that I just kind of watch very closely. It seems to allow our wings to be more aggressive. And Chico just talked about it. How do you feel Kellen has sort of fit in your system? Just 9 games in, right? It hasn't even played all that he has US MNT to play.
Well, Kellen's natural attributes are his mobility, his aggressiveness. He's a runner. He's obviously technically gifted as well. But first and foremost, he covers a lot of ground. And in our system, defensively, that helps us out immensely, and he's super important for us. But offensively, sometimes that can be detrimental to our game model. And so we've been speaking with him and showing him ways to slow it down a little bit, to wait, to let the game find you, to wait into pockets. So our positioning is a little more important when we have the ball. But defensively, his natural attributes have been a huge help for us and have made us better, which was the point of it. Offensively, you mentioned his progression as well. He's contributing more. His passing's better. He's figuring it out. He's a smart guy. And so he will figure out that side of the game, or continue to figure it, I should say, and become a very, very important piece to this puzzle. Probably one that you won't be able to remove once he's finally firing at 100% with and without the ball.